when I think of real, I always think of the person in the hood telling me, I'm going to just keep it real. You know, I'm real. And I'm starting to think that real and honest are two different things. Because when I look at the people who are saying, I'm just being real, most of them don't have an honest bone in their body. What is going on, everyone's? We here and we back with another episode of
Is My Point Valid?
Yes, indeed. I am Brandon D.
And I am Camille A. Stocker.
And you are tuned in with us today. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and before we get into that, let me let y'all know that we appreciate everyone who continued to show up for us. We're going to continue to show up for y'all every week on Monday with a hot new topic. So make sure if this is your first time being here, hit that subscribe button and stick around because we got y'all. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump into this not the topic. We're going to rewind and hit you one time with on this day. No, we're not. We're going to hit you. I'm just kidding.
You want to start the show from the end and go
backwards. No, we're going to hit you.
Cool. Okay, anyway.
What you know good. What you got for him, baby?
All right. I have 2 books that I read this week. No documentaries. The first book I read, Jesus and the Disinherited by Howard Thurman. He was a pastor. And so he wrote this book and he was talking about Jesus and Black people and how poor Black people believe in Jesus and you should
typical Black people stuff.
You should believe in Jesus because Jesus is the way. But he also said some other things that I didn't agree. So I gave this book 3 stars. Howard Thurman was a pastor. He wrote this book in the 1940s. This is a book that has been said that Martin Luther King Jr. walked around with. It was like torn up and messed up because he carried it around so much. And the line "free at last" is mentioned in the book. So I was like, okay, this is who he was kind of what's the
his
word?
Protege.
Yes.
The protege
So that's who was kind of his mentor he looked up to. So that's 3 stars, and that's Jesus and the Disinherited by Howard Thurman. Next up, I read, this that I brought on camera. It is Hiroshima by John Hersey. And this book was written in the 1940s as well, because this took place when the United States bombed Japan, ending the war with the atomic bomb. So I give this book 4 stars because it follows 6 victims, but they don't call themselves victims in the book, who were what's the word I'm looking for? My mind went blank. Who were affected by affected by the atomic bomb with radiation disease. So they were going through the motions of nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Mm-hmm. Blood changing, sores and scratches that would not heal, having handicaps, and then it follows them into what they were doing like 20 years later after the bombing, and these people were in bad shape. So on one hand, you're like, okay, United States, I understand why you did it, but man, these were civilians. These were regular people. One of the victims was a clergyman, a father. He was German, so I really can't pronounce his name correctly. I can't pronounce it, but he was a clergyman, and so he went through it, and they all went through it. It's crazy. So Hiroshima, John Hersey, 4 stars. I have an honorary mention. It's called Heart and Soul, The Story of America and African Americans. And this is by Kadir Nelson. I want to show that because this is one of our read alouds that we are reading a chapter. I read this on the weekends. So I'm going through it each week. And this is a read aloud. If you like read alouds like I do with my children, this is a good one. If you do want other read alouds that I read with my children, I can let you know about those as well.
Hit us up in the comments.
I have a lot, and I don't know when I'm gonna be reading for 20 years, but that is like the honorary mention. That's Heart and Soul: The Story of America and African Americans by Kadir Nelson. And that's all I have for What You Know Good.
Alrighty then, we're gonna keep this thing on a moving. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the topic for the day, which is going to be
real ain't honest.
Yes. So when I think of real, I always think of the person in the hood talking about, I'm gonna just keep it real. You know, I'm real. And I'm starting to think that real and honest are two different things. Because when I look at the people who are saying, I'm just being real, most of them don't have an honest bone in their body.
You don't think they do?
I know these people personally. I'm talking from personal experience.
Oh.
I'm just keeping it real.
Oh.
They don't operate with integrity. Nothing about them is honest. So that's why I say real can't be honest. Or maybe they just think so in their heads.
I think because of how I took it when you called me and then you said real and honest are not the same thing. I was like, I never thought of it like that, because just last week I was saying, I'm going to tell you what's real for me. I'm going to be real with y'all as in my situation as a stay-at-home mom. But I feel like I get what you're saying, but I felt like in that realness of what I was saying, I was being honest.
Yes.
So what you're saying is the people that you know, or the hood people that you know.
It's not even necessarily hood people. It's like, there's a lot of the, I would just, the people I know. Yeah. But there's more than just the people that I know who always say I'm keeping it real, and it's questionable.
So, I was saying, like, I'm gonna be real with y'all, but in my real, I feel like my real is honest, and so I think a lot of people see the definition of real, right? Real means I'm looking at you. This is real, a real thing. Yeah. So what I'm presenting to you, right, is real. This is projection. This is who I am. Yeah. So in a sense,
they are real.
They are real, but wouldn't that be honest to them? You get what I'm saying? Because what separates the two? What separates real action?
Accountability.
So when people think they're real, genuine, they're not. Maybe they are.
Maybe.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't really know anybody's intentions.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, what separates the two? Because some people will say they're real and then they're honest.
I think the character of the person is what separates the two.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're known for being a straight up and down person and you say that I'm just keeping it real, then there's a certain understanding with that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're known to be a bull jive person and you say I'm just keeping it real, then I know what to expect with that.
If you've known the person.
If I've known the person.
Right. If you've known the person.
Now, it's kind of hard to judge if you don't know this person.
Right.
Let's say real isn't always honest.
Right. Right.
And that's why I say it depends on the person and what they value.
Mm-hmm. Because you got to learn the person to like you said, to understand that, oh man,
you just keeping it real.
Right, but in that that real is their reality.
And like I said, when I think of real, I think of me being back in the hood, doing things in the hood with my people that weren't necessarily honest, but it was the real thing to do.
Okay, so like you mean like maybe taking things?
It was not honest.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was right, like taking things
like criminal activity.
I didn't want to say, but
yeah. I can admit to that. I've done some things in my life.
Like,
but yeah.
Okay.
The real thing in those situations is to rock with your people.
Oh.
The honest thing to do in those situations is tell them, nah, I can't. I ain't gonna be able to do that one.
That's so interesting because that has to do with being sincere, right? You have to be sincere or you have to stand up. The other day I had questioned the girls and I was like, I think we were having a discussion, but I was saying, because you said being honest, that is one of the things that a lot of people will not stand up and be, or like, okay, we shouldn't do this. And if you do take that stance, then somebody will be like, oh man, you're not being real, which doesn't fit the narrative of what it is that you're going to do. Okay, I get it. And so one of the being sincere. And so one of the things was that I was saying is if somebody is doing something, or would you, and you see it's wrong, would you have the nerve or the guts to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to do that? And then I think that makes you real because
No, that makes you honest.
That makes you honest?
That makes you honest. If you're going against.
If you're going against that reality.
Then that makes you honest.
Okay.
If me and my partners, now I don't do this no more. If me and my partners are going out to do something and I tell them, no, that ain't right, we shouldn't do that, that's honest. If I tell my partners, man, let's go do this, that's the real thing to do. And that's what, and when I say that, I think about Charleston White. I don't know why. Because all of the stuff that he doesn't like or that he speaks up on are things that are considered real in the neighborhood. Like when these people are going at so-called ops and all of this, shooting at each other, they being real.
Because of their environment?
Yes. Because of their reality. They're being real.
So I was being real, being the bookworm, being the kid who...
You were being real.
I was being myself.
You were being honest.
I'm confused.
You was being real honest.
I was being real honest. I think I'm a real honest person. Are we afraid to be honest? Because that goes back to you were saying... Well, I was telling the story, asking the girls, what would you do?
I think we're afraid to be honest because nobody wants to be ridiculed for
doing the right thing?
Or the wrong thing, however, whatever.
Well,
people don't want to be honest at all.
Yeah, but I'm saying even in the wrong, because for me, I think I might be a little too honest. But I always was like, I'm real, but I always try and be honest. I always try and keep if I messed up, I'm going to take that responsibility and be like, I messed up. And I feel like, that's a part of me because I want somebody else to do the same for me. And I know that is not, I know that's not how life works.
Not at all.
But I know for me, because I have to kind of guard who I am or what I present to the world and who I do, to family, whatever, and all of this, whatever it is, I want to always present my real self. And me presenting my real self, I feel like honesty is key. Now, do I slip up and tell a little fib every now and again? Yes, because
we all.
Yeah, who's not? Like, I'm not Honest Abe. I'm not Abraham Lincoln, as they say. He never told a lie. But for me, being real, or I've always been honest, or I've always tried to be honest and tell people the truth, and this is what it is, or this is how I view things, or this is how I value things, or this is how I feel, like, and that's
not always the case, and that's what I was explaining. Like, there are some people who are real and honest. My thing is, if you say you're real, make sure you're being honest.
Well, then everybody's not going to pass that test.
Absolutely not.
No.
And that's why we're having this conversation.
Right. And so then that means that they're just being human, because that honesty bone, and then they might not had somebody who kind of put it in them to, hey, you need to be honest. Or they're not around people who are saying, hey, leave that reality alone and move over in here. Right? Some people don't strive for that. Some people need help with that.
That's why I'm helping right now.
Some people need help with it.
The first step to getting help is admitting you have a problem.
Some people don't know that they have a problem.
That's what I'm telling them right now.
Some people still won't know that they have a problem.
Well, we're going to pray for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, and why I'm saying some people won't see that they have a problem is because we tend to look at other people and we tend to see the faults in other people, right? We can look at somebody, oh, they're not being real, oh, they're not being honest, but are we kind of looking at ourselves? That's why I said I could look at myself and say from me, I'm very, very honest. I'm a straight shooter. So that everybody ain't gonna.
This is true.
Everybody's not gonna get it. And like you said, how can you help somebody see that reality to coming to being an honest person?
By telling them they're not being honest.
How do you know they're not?
If I know you personally, I'm telling you, you're not being honest.
Oh, man.
But, yeah.
Okay. Real ain't honest.
Real ain't always honest.
I'm real honest.
Some people are. But let's just make sure when we saying I am real, I'm keeping it real, that we are keeping it real and keeping it honest. Make sure that those two terms align when we say one or the other. That's all I'm saying.
So before we wrap, with real, because we have real, the opposite of real is fake.
Absolutely.
So are they faking it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then how is it real?
That is not. Like I said, some people are just, they say they're real, but they're not. So they're not being honest.
With themselves.
With themselves.
Okay, I got it. Woo, Jesus, it took me a while. They're not being honest with themselves and telling themselves who they are, but they continue to present this realness to other people.
Exactly.
Okay.
Do y'all got it?
They got it now because okay.
All right, I'm just trying to make sure we all on the same page here.
I got it.
Real is not always honest. Let's make sure they align. If you're going to say you real, just make sure we're being honest. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And with that being said,
did we make valid points?
Did we? Do y'all feel we did? Do y'all feel like we all over the place? How do you feel? Hit us in the comments. Let us know. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and hit you in the head one time for your mind with On This Day in Black History. So today is February the 27th. So in 1872, Charlotte E. Ray became the first Black female lawyer. Born in New York in 1850, which would have made her, 22? Mm-hmm. Ray became the first Black lawyer in the U.S. and the first practicing female lawyer in Washington, D.C., according to the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. The Trailblazer began teaching at Howard University in 1869 when she first got accepted into the Howard School of Law. Ray applied under the name C.E. Ray because the university was reluctant to admit women at the time, according to the organization, but was able to graduate in 1872 and open up her own law practice before leaving law to teach due to the race and gender discrimination that plagued the profession. That was Miss C.E. or Miss Charlotte E. Ray, the first Black female lawyer. Shout out to her. That is trailblazing. Anyway, before we get out of here, thank you once again, everyone. If you're checking us out on our on any podcast platform, make sure y'all stick around because we are here every Monday with a hot topic. YouTube, subscribe. If you're brand new here, make sure y'all come back because we got y'all. And like always, it's love, peace, and soul. Like Soul Train, baby. Chill.